welcome to the B Team Podcast. I am your host, Josh Safran, with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our permanent guest,
Rob Nelson.
We're here every week to talk to you about all things Bentonville, bourbon, and business. The B Team Podcast. Be here. Welcome to the B Team Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Safran, along with my co-host,
Matt Mars,
and our smartest pencil,
Rob Nelson.
And we are here every Thursday talking about all things Bentonville business and bourbon. And today, how we haven't had you in before this.
How we haven't had you in?
How we haven't had you in.
Howie's my nickname.
Howie,
yeah, from Howerton.
I did that on purpose. Howie. Haven't had you in.
Haven't had you in.
The owner or the CEO of this amazing podcast studio. Air conditioning doesn't work sometimes.
No,
tables haven't been cleaned in months. We don't even have our picture up outside yet.
We haven't put y'all's record player out there yet. We're waiting.
We're patiently waiting.
Not so patiently.
We're the people to watch.
That's right. When we have people walking off the streets and go, "Hey, I like that B Team podcast," then we'll put one up there. But until then,
we need to have Carrie come by and open the door.
Yeah, never said that.
Don't ever say that.
But no, like our admin, Josh.
yes,
he called us the other day and he was like, "I think we need to do a podcast about the podcast so we can."
It's like a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
Right? We're having a podcast about the podcast.
Are we having a hard time getting guests on? Or? Rob and I
as a backup.
Yeah, Rob and I had a side text going. And we're like, are the doors about to close? What's going on?
We're getting desperate. If we bring in Howie, we're getting desperate.
But you know what, though? It is a really good deal because every guest that we do bring in, they're blown away by this studio.
They like
all joking aside.
Yeah, seriously.
And this thing is like first class.
Love it.
Like,
yeah,
top
and we've had a lot of people say that, like I have friends that have tried to do their own podcast, and they're like, "What are you guys doing? Like, are you guys doing that?" I'm like, we're not. Nothing.
No.
They will not let us touch any of that stuff.
No, this is full blown legit.
Thank you.
Studio.
Appreciate that.
With multiple rooms. And
I think it's like it's unheard. Like I never knew that there was a podcast.
Remember the first couple we filmed in the old studio? We're like, "Oh, this is really cool."
Was super nice.
Yeah. And then we're here.
Yeah, there was air conditioning in that.
That's right. We had curtains, so there wasn't a need for another.
There was a working bathroom. There was water that was running.
Yeah, that's crazy. No. And now it's just all.
I just peed out back.
Did you? Well, good, man.
Bathroom wasn't working.
No, but like we jab you a lot, but this place is so nice. Like you have all the different rooms, which we didn't have before at the other place. And no, I think what you guys are doing here is amazing, and I think this is just the beginning of podcast.
Yep.
So are you saying you're going to sign up for a year too? We're putting you on the record here.
If I can go, if we can get the diamond, if we can go diamond level, I think I might do it.
Like, diamond for platinum price though.
Platinum ice, that would be nice too.
We like diamonds.
I mean, nothing wrong with diamonds. Shout out to Blakeman's.
Shout out to
Blakeman's. Hell yeah, buy your diamonds at Blakeman's.
Right? That's all right.
But you've been so busy that we haven't had a chance really to get you in here.
In fairness, we've had better guests before. Now that we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Now that you're at your last resort, I'm here. I'm honored, too. So honored.
How'd you get into it?
Podcasting, video podcasts, honestly, out of frustration. Because I've always been a big believer in video as being the best marketing asset. I mean, obviously, you get your visual, get your audio part, and then it already has all the content in there. You can take it, write content against it, written content. You can splice it up and, make multiple videos out of one for social media usage. And the problem that I had when I was doing that for my own marketing and my other company was they could not produce fast enough. It was just, number one is like, hey, let's do a podcast. And everybody's like, oh, no, we got a script, and then we got a plan. Then we got to have a place to put it.
We don't have any script here.
No.
I know it's Josh tried to have one.
Did he try that one?
Rob and I do everything we can to not follow the script. And he sits over there and he's just like this the whole time.
I mean, you can't even have like an outline, much less a script.
I can barely get them to show off. But then when they're here, they're amazing.
No, they are. They're both beautiful.
And Rob and I have said this. when we first decided to do this, it was kind of a charity for Josh. We were like, we'll try it.
Yeah.
And like Rob and I, well, it's weird because I didn't think it would be as fun as it is.
No, we look forward to it.
And we like now we actually look forward to like when we haven't done them in a while. We're like, we need to go do podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, our
it's
text
like
thread,
our therapy.
our text thread the day before is, I mean, we can't show
reading
it
that
here.
to him.
It's
Yeah.
like, who's coming today?
Can you publish the text that y'all had before?
Probably not.
It would not be too afraid of our personal plans.
I think that'd be really good if y'all did that from now on.
All I can say though is don't mess with Josh's seating assignments because he gets a little squirrely.
I'm used to this, and then when my cheese has been moved, I get very concerned.
You know, there's a real good book that you could read.
Who moved my cheese?
Who moved my cheese?
I was
It's a
referencing
great
that.
read.
It's referencing.
You should read it or reread it. I'll talk to Emily.
You need to get two of them. Two of those books. so you can read.
hard copy and a soft cover.
Yeah, that way you can read it twice.
Twice.
Maybe books on audio too.
Yeah, they got that. So, I mean, like the production side, though, was, I mean, it was always like, hey, we got a plan. It took, 2-3 days just to plan the stupid, video podcast. And then when you got there, it was expensive and the editing took way too long. And in my mind, I'm just like, this has got to be streamlined because you can obviously watch videos on phones. I mean, this world's changing, the access, technology, and all that. And so how do we streamline this? How do we make this scalable? How do we make it efficient? And most importantly, cost affordable for, every individual or corporation that's out there. And so that's been the intent.
And you've been open for 6 months here?
Well, so we opened this studio back in March of 2024. But before that, like y'all were talking about,
6 months.
Not 6. Oh, well, you're dead on. I mean, it's amazing.
He did his homework before.
Yeah,
this.
he did. Yeah.
One of us has to do a little bit of research.
Read the
before we
prime
show
release
up.
on the website.
Yeah.
That was genius. But before that, we actually, for about a year, we were incubating in that other little studio. We just had curtains up. We were drilling holes in the table, hanging mics and cameras and lights in all different ways just to find the
But it
best
worked.
way. Yeah, it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah. And that's the best way to start sometimes.
Absolutely.
Organically and just let it organically.
I'm a big believer in that scrappy startup.
Test and learn.
Test and learn. I mean, you figure it out, and can you drive some revenue against it? Is there a market? Are people willing to pay for it? And do you upset people? Then you fix that, and then you kind of start scaling out. So once we had the confidence that, I mean, hey, this thing, people actually need it and want it, and I think that we can do it, and then we invested in the bigger one.
I've been shocked because we film a couple times a month, and I've been shocked every time I walk in. There's new people that are podcasting here.
Yeah.
So how many people? Can you share the number of people that are contracted with you and podcasting on a regular basis, and then what's the range of content?
Yeah, so I couldn't really say the number of individual people, but the range of content goes from everything from, like recipe guides to dad advice to we have women in the workforce coming in doing podcasts. Of course, you guys, we have business type of podcasts, supply chain. I mean, it kind of keeps going on and on. A lot of real estate. It seems pretty popular.
You have a soccer podcast?
We have a soccer podcast, Pitch to Pro, for the new soccer league.
Shout
that's
out.
Start down here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an awesome organization, man. They're doing some big things. It's been really cool to watch them accelerate, and then us to be a part of that acceleration.
Are we the loudest in most of the productions?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
That's what we wanted to hear.
well, all of our other clients that's our number one complaint. In Google.
The B team's coming in today. Oh, jeez.
The studio was nice, but man, there's a podcast next door that was loud, and it was 3 hour long podcast.
Well, and we've realized how busy you're getting because, like, in the beginning, we'd be like, oh, we want to do it this day, this time, that day. And now Josh will be like, oh, they don't have an opening this day. Or we got to go to a different one, it's been kind of neat. Too.
Yeah.
It is neat to change rooms.
Whereas you have so many different rooms that we didn't have that option at the old place.
Yeah.
But
At
no, it's good to see that you guys, it's good for you, not as much for us. Because
I also think
Sorry about that.
I also think it's good for the community that
Oh,
people in the
100%.
community want to get in here and tell their story or push them.
Well, our community, I mean, speaking of, I mean, as you guys know, as the B team, I mean, our community is just chock full of some excellent leaders in this area. I mean, like, you can, I mean, the amount of per capita of just strong leaders that we have.
He's not talking about the people in this room.
No, not
outside
in this, outside this
Outside
room.
this room.
Right now.
Okay, because I was like, yeah, they're here.
I'm one of them. I mean, obviously, there's got to be more than just me, But I mean, it's pretty neat though, because we can take that knowledge and we can share it and we can scale that information and help other people out. I mean, I think that's what we were seeing happen around here as well. Plus, it's a pretty innovative community too. I think that we're more willing to try things, trying to stay tapped into all the new trends and things that are going on. So it's been picked up pretty well.
It's awesome.
Yeah, one of the neatest things that I've realized too is that as we got into it, like, what are all the little bottlenecks that keep from producing and actually distributing your podcast and your videos and stuff? And I mean, kind of like what you guys were talking about earlier, folks that do it on their own find out real quickly, like even from the hardware standpoint, it's like, what the hell do I buy? That takes research time. Then what's the editing software? Then once you make it through that, you're like, okay, I made it. And, oh yeah, what about the scene and the lighting? And then, every time that you turn a corner in doing this, you start bumping up against another hurdle. And that's what we've been set out to do, is find all those little hurdles in there and just try to maximize.
But that's the piece I love most about you guys. And these guys give me grief, and we all give each other shit. But when it comes down to, we show up, we film.
Yeah.
I edit a couple things out, like, hey, this didn't go well. And like, that's it. Then it's posted. You guys push us on all social media forums. You guys tag us. I mean, like, we just have to show up and have some good content.
Well,
which makes it
the
real
platinum
easy.
package. Not everybody has the platinum.
Rob and I actually had a side meeting. We didn't want to say anything, but I just want to let you, like, we had a side meeting that you're not allowed to, like, do any additional editing anymore.
No, it has to go. Yeah,
you're cutting out a lot of the good
content. We've been told. Little Birdie told us.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, they screwed up again.
It's been good.
I'll see you down the road, I guess, huh?
I mean, we're just going to leave it raw and unedited.
Well, that's right.
Welcome to the B-Team Podcast with my host, Matt Bones, and my co-host, Rob Nelson. I've just been voted off the island.
You're out.
And we messed with his seating chart on the last one.
That really threw me off.
He's going to go home and put a bottle in it.
It's been a bad day.
They just, in the last podcast, they flipped seats.
That's unacceptable.
And I was very confused the whole podcast. I was in it all. I was like, what the heck's going on here?
It's okay. We got you.
We got to figure it out.
We got you. It was fine.
You and I have a long history.
That sounds.
We go way back.
Ooh, it sounds.
And you're a super entrepreneur. Like, you've got a lot of stuff. You just exited a business successfully. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that you talked about the reasons to the podcast studio, but like, what's the long-term vision here? Are you talking about expansion? Are you thinking about, like, what's your mind's always thinking about the next thing? What is the next thing here?
Yeah, grow as fast as possible, as many studios as we possibly can. I think it's gonna. There's in my mind, it's more about the purpose and intent. Like, number one, create more media outlets, which is basically what you guys are, right? I mean, when you bring it down,
we're a media outlet.
Media outlet.
I don't know that I would go that far with us, but
well, I mean, no, y'all are like one of the biggest and best. I mean, everybody knows who y'all are.
That's not what Josh has been telling us. I mean, you're talking about y'all language, Josh. You can go to the bathroom. Tell us more about this.
Divvy up your sponsorship revenue that y'all really do.
I mean, we still haven't gotten the company credit card. I mean, the expense account,
$10,000 a month.
I mean, we haven't even gotten a T-shirt yet.
Damn. Dude, that's supposed to be for you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you do
like
kick it back.
That's all going to the charity.
Yeah, it's a good cause.
But I mean, so we go out and create more of that, allow more people to be able to have a voice. And the the other thing too is that, I mean, tech changes so rapidly now, and I mean, it's honestly the disruption towards the creatives that are out there, like the videographers, the audio producers, all that stuff, especially with artificial intelligence. I mean, we're able to kind of try to keep up with that and give them an additional place to land. And so our hope is that if we have more studios, that there'll actually be people it'll give them opportunity to still express themselves and be part of the business without having to deal with all the other intricacies that go on with the business too. So, but yeah, that's it. And then we also want to be the number one resource when it comes to podcasting and videos as well online.
What have you learned 6 months in? So something, because you're always tweaking your business model. I know that we are asking for and receiving great analytics on things we need to be doing and doing better, which has been a huge addition because we're like, hey, is our podcast any good? We don't know. You guys have sent out weekly analytics to us. Like, what changes and tweaks to the business model?
I've never seen it.
Well, you guys don't read your emails.
What email do you have? Poor Josh is trying to be serious.
This is like the best podcast y'all could have ever had.
As you're noticing, I got a lot of pressure.
We're finding out so much about our podcast that we thought we knew. I mean, we don't.
I mean, for all I know, we might be on the chopping block.
Well, you may be on the chopping block as a permanent guest.
Fine.
The co-host has a permanent space.
Yeah. The viewers love me.
They do.
So what was your question?
Sorry. The question was, what have you tweaked along the way? What have you learned that you said, hey, this is not the right way to do this. I want to move in this direction. I want to do more of this, less of this. I mean, thoughts about 6 months into this?
Man, I think everything comes down to distribution, right? I mean, it's basically marketing. And I've always felt like, marketing, I mean, you could have the best ad created in the world, the best video, best content, but if you don't distribute that appropriately, then you're kind of, it's all for naught, really. And it's got to hit the right folks. So that's always the place that we're trying to discover and dig deeper into. Like, how do you say the right thing, take the right clip? What's the right time of day? What's the right day of the week? What's the right channel? What's the right engagement? I mean, how do you do all that? And it's just a never-ending uphill climb, really. And but we're constantly tweaking that, and then also just communication back to our clients, right? I mean, it's
communication with me and Rob.
Yeah. Well, that's not our responsibility, right?
Like, sounds like
for one host to basically sabotage the entire podcast internally. That's kind of. That's an isolated circumstance.
Well, let's go back. Let's get to the real history. Well, we started going through our.
There's only one asshole that I know that does that. I mean, it's Josh Saffron.
I cut them off on email when we started going through the logo process up front, and I asked them for feedback.
Like blue.
I asked them.
It's like green.
No.
Then John's like, delete.
I asked.
Yeah, we're good. It's purple.
I asked for feedback on the logo. And there was like 19 emails later, and then Matt and Rob go back to the first email and then go on blue. I'm like, guys, we're so far past blue. Can you stay with the thread? They're like, we're so busy, we don't have time to read our emails. I'm on TV, I'm building homes, do all the work. And I'm like,
You're on this podcast.
So now they want to know why they don't get emails.
Hey, but if you notice, it's blue.
That's who Trump. He's really running this thing.
He doesn't like us calling him our admin, but he does keep everything together.
Hey, you know what?
To be fair, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Josh.
I'll be sure and send flowers on Admin's Day this year. Sorry we missed it last
them
year.
out to lunch.
Well, we could do that too.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay if we just send flowers.
That way you
This podcast is enjoying quite the way I was anticipating.
No, like
That's what we
turn
like
all
about it.
I mean, this is your idea to have a end. Now it's turned on you. Like
It was.
crazy.
I thought you'd have support for me.
No.
I didn't even.
No, I just go with the crowd, man. I mean, it's going.
But what's so nice about your whole business here is you don't have, everyone tries to buy their own stuff to save money.
Yeah.
And the problem is everything you buy is, and you probably find this out too, is probably obsolete by the time you get put in.
Absolutely.
So you're like continually changing it. And if you don't have the funds to do that when you're trying to do your own. I mean, that's what I think's so nice. Like Josh helps with final editing, but we can come here, talk all this trash, and then you guys put it all together and send it to us.
Yeah, right. It's pretty easy.
And like you make it to where it's seamless and you do it because like everyone, I don't know that everyone has, but a lot of people I know, including myself, have bought a Garmin. And you're like, because you watch a friend's Garmin videos or a GoPro.
Yeah.
And you record footage and you're like, after you sit on the computer for an hour and a half editing it, you're like, this is not.
Mean it's at the computer?
What I imagined,
It's at the computer.
I did one time. And what I imagined is you think, like you watch people's videos, you just think they're playing it off the deal. You don't realize the
What goes
hours
into it.
that they spend like editing all of that stuff. And that's like, I think it falls apart unless you love doing that.
Yeah.
And it's nice having you guys because we hate that. Us two. Josh, I think, kind of likes it. You like it or you do it because we have to.
I know that we have to have somebody that's providing them feedback, and I know that you guys are going to be amazing in the studio and help with the guests, but I do have to help some of the, hey, let's cut this out. Or because the problem with our podcast is like we have like an hour and 10 minutes of content. And we're like, guys, you got to stay within 45 to 50 minutes. And so, like, all right, this 15-minute segment's brilliant, and we'll make the outtakes.
Yeah.
But I got to figure out what to cut. And that's the extent of what we have to do. Like, you guys do everything else.
Yeah.
So, but then you also have packages where if people want to be more involved, they have that option as well, too.
Yeah. We can do basically like what we call a tech touch, where, they just a tech touch.
Oh, you're my tech touch.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, it's not like that.
It's not a tip touch. It's a tech touch.
Tech touch. Sorry.
TEC. Sorry. TIP.
Well, we call that like if somebody just wants to, sign up, they want to come in, just record, get the final edit, and they're done, her hands off, or they can just come in and just do a recording. They can edit themselves, and of course the processes are fluctuating on that.
So you have a little something for everybody, depending on their budget or how much they want to get involved or not be.
Yep, and how experienced they are. Because like what you were saying, Matt, was that what you really need to have happen is hosts like yourself to engage with the guests, hosts,
Co-host,
a host, co-host, and
permanent guest.
That's
Which
right.
is probably the best.
What was the pencil thing though? You said something. What's that?
Oh, that's Rob.
That's Rob's claim to fame. So he was trying to say I'm not the sharpest pencil.
Okay.
He said I'm not the smartest pencil.
Oh, and Josh,
which is perfect.
Josh and I looked at each other and we're like,
I mean, I might have been a few bourbons in. So.
Yeah, cut him a break.
And it was filmed with Jenny Morris that day.
He thought it was
Jenny busted on him harder than any of us.
Smartest pencil.
So really, it's sharpest tool, sharpest pencil, smartest pencil. So we need T-shirts from the podcast studio saying the smartest pencil with Rob's picture.
You'll sell out.
Sell out.
Yeah.
But another
just
funny,
10%.
Like another weekly funny thing is when Josh sends us the little outtakes. Like he'll send us.
You get outtakes?
a little. You get them too.
Just don't check your email.
Or his text.
No, he'll text. But he'll be like, "You guys got to watch this one," and it's like it's just fun to see. So I think for you, it's probably. I know it's another job that you've taken on, but
Well, so it's funny on the Sundays before, so I have to edit them out to these guys by Monday so they could get them out on Thursday. So it's picture Sunday in my house. I'm like, Emily, come watch the podcast. And she's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I'm laughing, I'm pausing, and she goes, I don't want to watch it anymore. And I'm done. And then I'm like, can I borrow your phone so I can take a picture of the video on the TV? She goes, this is so annoying, you and your podcast buddies. And I'm crying, laughing. She goes, and I think it's the funniest thing ever.
We call folks like you podcast heroes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Natalie actually told me she actually loves it because you leave her alone for a few hours while she's figuring it all out.
Yeah, she said the same thing to me. She tell you?
yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
But it allows the host to come in. You can engage with the guests. You can focus on the content. I mean, y'all understand this. One of the biggest challenges is getting new guests, finding new guests, and content, and topics.
That's why you're here today.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You lost it. Yeah, no, I got you. You had a blank spot. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're our filler.
Hey,
It's fun.
we have the fish guy back up as well, too. It's an inside joke. Fish tank guy.
Yeah, very big insight.
Very big insight. But then also, I think that one of the biggest challenges that I've experienced is coordination of calendars. Trying to get people, and then obviously the studio, like what you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
But that whole thing is, I mean, that takes time in of itself, and it's hard to get somebody outside of the host network there to engage with that because you know the people, and all that. So.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like I always tell people, like I'm like if you've ever thought that you wanted to do it, you should go try it.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, we keep it light. I mean, it's not like you got to go practice or study the night before. I mean, what you see is what you get.
I mean, it might have started where we had to study a little bit.
Yeah,
but we've kind of veered way.
Then you realize that it took way too much time. You know?
We let Josh have his 15 minutes. It was fun.
Josh was like, these guys cannot remember something they read 3 minutes ago.
I'm just happy if I can get them to show up, because they both have a lot of vacation time. And when you're in business, these guys travel.
Right.
And so the best episode was when Rob was out of town and his mom came in and filmed. Shout out to Emily.
Yes, yeah, to Mom.
We had a buttered biscuit on,
it.
and she came in. She had a blast, and the viewers all voted for her to be back. And
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
all of our viewers voted.
You know, I do a podcast too. Have my own with Mark Zweig, and
Great content.
They talk about small business. You've been on it.
Great content. That was the best episode.
Yeah, it was with you.
what it was.
No, it was absolutely because you were so coordinated.
The ratings bonanza from that one.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But I mean, I share the same experience you do just as a podcaster, is that, you know, it's actually a little bit of a stress relief. It's something to look forward to, and you're staying connected, networked. You know, I mean, one of the hardest things as we get older in professional life is that we start losing connections.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the back burner thing to do. It's like, hey, let's meet up and just chat and be friends.
Because the older you get, I think when we all do this, we've seen our parents do it, and we're, like you put blinders on and you have like your group, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's fun when you do this because it kind of opens, when you're young, you'll throw anything at the wall and see if it sticks. And the older you get, you're like, nope, that doesn't work. I've tried it 10 times. Not doing
Right.
it.
And we're also a little bit more tired. I'm just getting tired.
But think about from this when we started this thing. So first of all, we've gotten a lot closer because our text threads have been hysterical.
100%.
But like, I never would have met Tony from Trailhead without you guys.
And
you
I
guys never
twist your arm on that.
Yeah. You guys never would have met Mike.
You never
Number
know,
one viewed.
But the point is, how many new connections have we each made?
No, we
from
really
being
have,
on. Like you have new favorite restaurants that you go to, right?
Absolutely.
Shout out to Flashback, right? We've all gone to Flashback for pizza.
Yeah.
We got to experience and try foods. The
dining in the dark.
Dining in the dark with Brenda.
Yeah.
With the Royal Red shrimps. I mean, there was so many great things.
So the thing to my point back to you is the new people connections through the podcasting experience has been fantastic. Like the amount of new connections made from just people being in the studio has got to be fantastic in a community heavily focused on networking.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all joking aside, how about that text or the review we had the other day that you shared with us?
Oh, yeah. We had a guy, I was sitting at Jen's place, shout out, and he said, I drive a truck all day long, and I'm always listening to podcasts. He said, I hadn't heard your podcast. So I sent him the link, and he sent me a text back. He goes, this is fantastic content. It helps me with what's going on in the community. I didn't know this existed. I love it. It's one of my new favorite podcasts.
Cool.
And it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is neat when people say they've been listening to, and they actually repeat some of the information. I actually had my own brother call and was like, hey, he brought up a point that I made in a podcast. He's like, man, that was really eye-opening, and he had all these ideas come from it. I mean, it's pretty gratifying, I would say, because, I think that, when you have experience professionally, I mean, you guys are sharing experiences, you're bringing networks together, you're able to expose folks to, to new things going on in the community. I mean, that's gratifying.
Yeah.
Matt was at River Grill, and Matt's got a cameo on TV, and he had somebody come up to him early on and goes, I know you. You're the guy on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm finding really?
Yeah. And I was like, what?
Which is pretty cool, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and it's actually made me learn more about Northwest Arkansas, which I felt like I knew. But we all get stuck in our favorite things to do, and that's all you do. And it's been good, and it's always fun coming in here because like today, we get here and we meet people that are doing another podcast and. We're probably going to interview them for a couple different things that they do, and like it's just fun networking, and I don't know, it kind of like revives you, whereas you get your blinders, like I said, on, and you don't do what you did when you were young and network with all those people.
Yep.
Well, it's forced us all to kind of come out of our comfort zone and interact with people and things that we normally wouldn't do. We like our group of friends and things that we do, but like that lady who had the other podcast, it was great. We wouldn't have met her had we not walked in here. So it was such a cool spot to just meet new people.
Yeah, it's like a podcast hangout here.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're drinking bourbon.
Exactly. And you can roll out bourbon. Yeah, roll out bourbon here.
Now, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about your team here.
Man, I agree.
Because you're the visionary.
Yeah.
But we also know you're not doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
No, I don't do any of the heavy lifting.
Matter of fact, I had to send you a Google map to show you how to get to the studio today.
It's been so long,
But the team is fantastic.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they're awesome. I mean, that to me is like, honestly, the most rewarding thing in business. I mean, I'll probably share that as well, but just watching other people grow, and, the folks coming in, and it's such a new thing. Like, I mean, we're not really modeling after anybody. I mean, I think there's some competitors we run into or similar, type of places, but nobody that's really kind of doing exactly what we're doing. I mean, we feel like that we're being innovative. I mean, but to be able to watch folks come in, like Jeremiah, he comes in, he just starts working at the front desk to kind of help with guests to check in and get the studios ready and stuff. And then, I mean, really quickly, I noticed how into the social media is, just his passion behind it. And was able to put him designated at that. I mean, he's just killing it, and Parker. Awesome. I mean, all of them are just growing. Yeah. And we kind of, I believe, coming back to your point, Rob, like just the startup is ladders. Yeah, he made a great point earlier. I mean, actually, he makes the best points, other than Matt. I mean,
that's why he comes back every week.
Unless it's on a pencil. Yeah, he does. That's why it's a smart pencil.
Right. It's a smart pencil.
It's not a dumb pencil.
Yeah, no. It's not a piece of woodworker.
Right, exactly.
It's like an Apple Watch. It's not a pencil.
It's a smart pencil.
That was a metaphor that he was using.
Yeah.
You're just not smart enough to get it.
There are such things as smart pencils now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm buying
Apple technology. From smartwatch to the smart pencil. I should brand that.
I should.
But we kind of ladder step, right? I mean, that's kind of my approach is the market and the clients demand more stuff. And then, how do we add that capability? Do we need to bring somebody on? Is it ready to be full-time or can we contract it out? And, it's just really neat to watch the team grow and take on new challenges and do stuff that nobody else is doing.
Well, we talk about it. One of the themes that we've kind of morphed into is experiences, because we talked about how good some of the restaurants are and other things, but the experiences that come with it. And the team here has made the experience amazing. Anytime there's a question, a problem, I pick up. Every time I text somebody, I get a call back, what do you need or how do we fix this? Coming in today, we're like, what room do you want? Let's make sure it's ready for you guys. Yeah. Like, nobody has to do that. They can just be like, you guys just show up and figure it out. But they're really, really good with ensuring that we come in fully prepared with all the edits done. And outside of us not having our record out front, I mean, everything else is fantastic.
They talk to us like we're stars.
That's awesome.
Like, they haven't let me ride the motorcycle in the front.
Right.
It's like, I want to ride it.
So don't ride it yet. I mean, if you really, really want to ride it, let me know. We'll get some oil in it for you. If you ever get that crazy and just say, screw it.
By the third one, I come out and I'm like, I think I could ride a wheelie around the
That's what I need to have happen in this business right there. Matt and the critical accident, Ron and wheelie on Eric's motorcycle outside of podcast videos. That'd be perfect. That's what I want to deal with.
It'd be pretty fun.
He wants to drive the wrapped car.
Yeah, you can do
that's
that.
easy.
I mean, not after Urban's. That's an easy one.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that after.
Isn't that it's a Mustang, isn't it?
It's a Mustang Mach-E. We wrapped up with some podcast videos.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're a marketing genius.
Thanks, man. You get a lot of credit. I appreciate that. But I mean, like our team, the way we started our culture, client first, right? I mean, you do a great job with that at the Gents Place. I mean, I definitely give you that. I actually kind of learned from you on that.
Oh, thank you.
Don't tell him things like that.
Well, I mean,
it's for Emily.
It's actually Emily.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. We all.
Your employee, the guys you have working here are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, but they put the clients first. I mean, they've all believe and recognize this is a ingenious concept, but the clients pay the payroll.
Yeah.
Like, that's been very understood from the beginning. I think that a lot of companies lose that.
Yeah.
I walked into a Subway literally just yesterday to get a sandwich, and the lady behind the counter had her earbuds in. And I was walking in at 9:00, and I was like, "Hey, are y'all still open?" She didn't respond. I got closer to the counter, and I was like, "Ma'am, are y'all still open?" She still didn't respond. She looks up and she goes, "Did you say something?"
Oh.
And I go, yeah, I did. She took her earbuds out, and I was like, "Are y'all still open?" She goes, "Yeah, we're still open until 10." And it's like, okay, well, I'm okay to eat. But But I mean, just that kind of mentality will just destroy the business.
Yeah. The Subway stock is just going to go down with a 5 billion viewers.
I don't even think it's a Subway thing. It's a lack of leadership in that in particular business. Which leadership's everything. You set the precedent. And like, I mean, what would you do if someone, one of your team members was doing that and you walked in here?
One conversation, that's the only chance.
That's it. That's it.
I mean,
because in this day and age, you lose someone over one thing like that.
Absolutely.
And it's hard.
Oh, never mind losing
when you're
one
in a
person,
small
then they
business.
go blasted all over.
Well, and you can't buy bad advertising.
That's right.
If you do something great, they'll tell 2 or 3. But if you do something bad,
the whole
they'll tell every person they walk into. And it's hard.
And the other thing is like to me, it's the strongest competitive advantage is service, right? I mean, because of all this stuff that's going on, if you can just have a culture that's just relentless about just helping people be successful, then I mean, you're going to win. You're going to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when I do call here, I can see them go, oh, shit, Josh is calling. Like, when they're passing the phone, Jeremiah passes it to Bob. Bob passes it to who wants to say Josh's call? I do know that happens.
Well, yeah, but again, that's a very isolated circumstance. We don't do that to all of them.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
We are on the email list for that. And they told us that, like, Josh is hard to deal with. We're working through it.
Yeah.
We kind of give him to the new guy.
But since you are part of the podcast, we still want y'all to come in.
I think
However,
they're setting up a special voicemail box just for phone calls. Extension 587.
Technology at its finest.
that's it, man.
Well, Eric, it's great to have you in. I don't know why we didn't get you in before this. I mean, again, you are filling in for somebody else, but it's been great.
The budget made it clear. At the end, that's a good one. I like that.
The website for the viewers. How do we get in touch with you?
Podcastvideos.com. It's pretty.
Is that podcast with a P or is it a PH or
PODCASTVIDEOS?
I just want to see if you could spell it.
Yeah, well, I had to think about it. That's such
yeah,
a
like,
it's
where
the
are you
worst
going with
question.
this?
Yeah, right.
Put a P in it.
Don't say Dodcast or
He's just a little hurt today. It's been a tough day for Josh.
It's been a rough day. A lot of feedback.
We threw him off his normal path.
It's a feedback-rich environment.
He tried to get back on it like 5 times, and I'm like, no.
if you could hold like your head just a little bit straighter when you're talking, I mean that'd be better for
That would be
podcast. Yeah.
I'm looking at you so quizzically.
Don't put your arms on the like you need to sit up. I mean, there's a lot of things you should be doing differently, but
I mean, we'll find a new host for season 2. It feels like you're going to actually have to show up at the studio and lead these two and see how that goes.
Josh is like, you're going to have to deal with these idiots, and I'm going to leave.
This is my third full-time
It'll
job.
turn into just the 3 of us every. Well, like we don't have anyone.
There's no guests.
But we're going to talk.
and it'd be a hit. No, it would. It'd be the best one ever. And then we'll be like, I'm so glad we got rid of that guy, Josh.
Yeah, remember that guy that always wanted to have people come on the show?
And I'm going to be with the
talk
competitor down the street, and I'm going to kick your ass.
That's right. You are. You sure are.
Yeah, you're going to have 5 views.
5. That's 4 more than this team, though. Eric, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
This is a world-class establishment.
Thank you.
You're a fantastic human being. We didn't even get into all the work you're doing in the community and some of the charity stuff, but anybody that wants to be in the podcasting space in Northwest Arkansas, this is the place to be.
Yeah, and we can do it across the entire world too. I mean, it's remote guests.
Let's start small.
No, we'll start big.
Whoa, we can do that. Well, so when Rob and I were on vacation, we could have done it.
Exactly. Did you?
That's why he never told us this.
I'm sorry, guys. Look, we shot an email, let y'all know everything. I mean, apparently you got.
We're going to Bimini next week. We'll shoot from there.
Y'all can totally be on vacation.
Eric, Rob, and Matt in Bimini, and I'm here in the studio, and you guys are zooming in.
Oh, you imagine?
We say only like 2 things because we don't know if we should cut in.
This has been epic. I'm really feeling good about my
Or you
future.
go home and suck your thumb.
I'm going to curl up in the fetal position after we get out of here.
Take a shower.
As the 3 of you go out to dinner, and I'm going home by myself. Thank you, Howie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Great job.
All y'all do.
Thank you.
Yep.